Big bite of chocolate!
Got you covered. 2, please.
Certainly. You kids enjoy.
Actually, we're men, lady. But thanks. Okay, Patrick, let's... you can let go now. I said let go, please. Ugh. Ugh. What is this? Ugh.
Scene 199 of Spongebob Rehydrated. To make these characters, I sculpt them with dynamic retopology. After I sculpt a bunch of characters, I use the quad remesher add-on from Exozide. Unfortunately, it does expire after a month, so find a different method. I decided to create a sort of bone loopy thing. It's the CG cookie procedural chain method. I used a bone stack instead of a chain link. It takes up a lot of processing power. Go to this funnel icon, the restriction toggles, you hit the screen and the camera one. And the screen one allows you to disable things in your viewport and save up your processing power. The camera one is your render display. And for animating the dialogue, you have the audio dragged to the correct point when you start animating, and you can do this with the video editing tab. And you want to enable audio scrubbing. And for rigging the mouth movements with speech, I use shape keys. The ones that I use the most are A, O, M, F. And if your character has a tongue, then you can also add like T sounds and other sorts of vowels and letters as you scrub through it. Now if you look closely at the skulls, you'll notice that the skulls sort of have this crusty bits that are kind of like dark. I have a negative light that's lighting up my coral over here. For the first half, instead of using an area light, which is what I should have used, I used a point light. If you're using a point light, some of the negative light is gonna affect these reflective surfaces. 24 samples is probably enough to get away with having refraction in Eevee. If you don't have refraction, then you can actually set it down to something like 5 or 6 samples. And I got this stock footage from Pixabay, which is a place where you can get free stock footage that looks really nice. Moving on to the second part of the scene with Patrick in the paddy wagon. I cheated and I downloaded a RIP. I removed all of the images and materials and I added procedural materials. Sometimes you can get away with just adding your own materials. Also for the Patrick scene, I added a little bit of volumetric to make it look foggier. Now, this scene here with a sort of old lady says certainly is just me talking, and then I changed the hue of my mouth with Adobe Premiere. Moving on to the sort of slimy physics where SpongeBob is grabbing the ice cream and trying to pull it away from the old lady, but can't pull it away because there's too much slime. So the way that I made this was I used vertex groups and hook modifiers. The way that you make vertex groups is by having either bones, or you can just add a new vertex group and assign the vertices with edit mode, or you can use weight paint. When you add a new hook modifier and then assign it to the vertex group, you should be able to hook whatever object you want to hook to the vertex group. For SpongeBob's hands specifically, I went in and I drew curves around his hands, and then I made that into a mesh, and then I added 2 vertex groups to each side, one connected to the ice cream, one connected to his hands, so that way they would look like the slime was connecting the ice cream to his hands. I went to the graph editor and then I added a noise modifier to the animation of SpongeBob's hands. It's all like shaky. It won't allow you to keyframe the level of noise, so you have to go and adjust it with this start and end thing. I sort of did the same thing with Sonic Rebuilt with the camera. Now for the last part of the scene, the shack falls apart. I used bounce interpolation mode, just sort of time it up to hit the ground, and then as soon as the boards hit the ground, smoke puffs. They're white spheres separated into puffs. The way that I did this was I keyframed the scale and location. I keyframed them into view, scale it outward with the median point, and then scaling by individual origin to sort of shrink into nothing.
Yeah?
Big bite of chocolate!
Got you covered. 2, please.
Certainly. You kids enjoy.
Actually, we're men, lady. But thanks. Okay, Patrick, let's... you can let go now. I said let go, please. Ugh. Ugh. What is this? Ugh.